أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الكريم وبعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Dear viewers all over where you are watching us from, this is a special report on the blasphemy on the Yunusa Dairu abduction and how the Islamic scholars have been reacting to this blasphemy that is against our religion, particularly on a minor, or let's just say a crime that was committed by a Muslim, which has yet to be confirmed. But on this particular special edition, we are with one of the counsel who is they are defending the case currently at the law courts in Bayelsa, and we need to understand from the background of the whole saga so that we can get details of the correct and accurate information of what has happened. Join me to welcome into the studio. With me is the barrister Audu Bulama Bokati. Is one of the counsel representing Yunusa Dairu in this Rita Ezehuru case of abduction in Bayelsa. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Barrister, for the clearance of doubt and for the Muslims to be able to understand the correct position of things, can you give us the background of how it started, who is Yunusa, Eze, Hururu, and the rest of them, the background of what happened?
Okay, Bismillah, Alhamdulillah, Salatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man tabi'ahum bi ihsani ila yawmiddin. I mean, to begin with, I should say, Yunusa is a Muslim that was born and brought up in Kano, specifically in a town called Tofadanga, under Kura local government area of Kano State. And as it is in the nature of some people from the north, Yunusa and some people from his village started going to Bayelsa, specifically Yenagua, for business. Yunusa was initially selling water, that is in wheelbarrow. He was wheelbarrow pusher, and then later he started riding tricycle. What we call napep in some places. Now, Yunusa's house, I mean, where he lives in Yonagwa, is close to, I mean, Ese Oruru's house. And the mother at a point started selling food. Yunusa goes to buy food from them. Of course, Yunusa was supplying water to that stall, that is to the place, and sometimes to their house, and that was how they met with the girl. Of course, they are of their age mate, I should say, and they fell in love. And then at the end of the day, the information we are getting later shows that Yunusa and Ese wanted to, I mean, get married. By Ese, I mean, Yunusa said, it is only a Muslimah I would marry. Now Ese said, I am going to accept Islam if you would marry me. Now, Ese, in one of her letters, which is in our custody, writes that she would accept Islam because she loves Yunusa, and she would fulfill that condition so that she would get married to him. That was how it started, and then now they agreed to go to Kano. But Yunusa later recanted. He rescinded, I mean, from that arrangement. He said, no, I am not going with you. Now, that is also part of what we have in a letter written in her own handwriting.
By Eze herself?
By Eze herself.
By Rita Eze herself?
Yes.
Okay. In
her own handwriting. Now, Yunusa, their friends, I mean, his friends told us, sneaked on the day he was going to Kano so that she would not see him because he didn't want to go to Kano with her. But she was noticing him. At the end of the day, she followed him to the garage. She paid for her transport.
Herself?
Yes, herself. She paid for her transport. Ese has said that by herself time and again, that I paid for my transport. And then they traveled to Kano. After they traveled to Kano, immediately they went. Yunusa reported to his parents that this is a girl I am in love with. We want to get married, get us married. She wants to convert to Islam. Now, they said, no, this is not how things are done. Report it to the traditional ruler, the ward head. The matter was first reported to the ward head by Yunusa himself on the day or a day after they arrived. Now, the ward head referred the matter to the district head, and the district head referred the matter to the emir of Kano. The emir of Kano, after, I mean, listening to their case, referred the matter to the Sharia Commission, that let the Sharia Commission do their investigation and see whether in Islam this marriage can be done and whether this lady would be, allowed to accept Islam. They conducted their investigation and they reported the matter back to the emir. At which point the emir wrote a letter to the Assistant Inspector General of Police, Zone 1, who is in charge of many states there, including Kano, instructing him to investigate the matter and return the lady to her parents. But the police,
in Yenagoa?
Yes, in Yenagoa, and that happened in September last year, September 2015. Yes, about 6 months before now. Now, of course, apparently after the police listened to the case and the girl, and Yunusa and Ese, I think they formed an opinion that no crime was committed, and therefore they handed Ese over to the Sharia Commission and said, she of course they wanted to return Ese, but Ese said no, I don't want to go back.
You mean the lady herself?
The lady herself, she's yes.
After the investigation of the police.
Of the police, yes. And now the police said, okay, let her go and live where she wants to live. Mark you, she was not allowed to live under the custody of Yunusa. It was an official of the Sharia Commission that was entrusted with her care as her guardian, and he took care of her like he takes care of his daughters. And at the end of the day, Ese's parents were in Kano twice, trying to convince her.
They came from Yenagoa
to Kano. Yes,
trying
to convince the girl.
Is that in 2015 or 2016?
It happened in 2015.
Okay.
They went twice. In fact, in one of the visits, they spent about 2 or 3 days in Kano. They were trying to convince the girl to go back to Yenagoa with her. She said no, she wants to live in Kano, she wants to marry Yunusa, and she wants to be a Muslim. Now, this was what happened. But then what we see in 2016, of course, you could say about a month ago, is that some people deliberately manipulated facts and twisted the situation. They started calling on the social media, and particularly Senator Ben Bruce.
Senator Ben Bruce?
Yes, Senator Ben Bruce was the first person to start manipulating this issue. And he started saying it was a man in the north who abducted a girl in the south. One of the issues in contention is the prosecution is claiming that Ese is 14 years old, but we are saying no, she is more than 14, she is not 14.
So what are your bases for?
We have bases. These are issues that are before the court. I wouldn't want to let our evidence out. Secondly, they are saying Yunusa is grown up, but we are saying Yunusa is also a minor under Nigerian law, and we will bring our evidence to the court. The point is, it is, a simple case of 2 teenagers, who's, driven away by love, because at that age you will think love is everything. They took a decision that may not be good for any of them, for either of them. And I think this is how we should look at it.
And okay, now please, before you step further, you mentioned something about the Emir of Kano.
Yes.
Because his personality,
yes,
the Emirate of Kano Council,
yes,
has also been dragged, yes, to this matter.
Yes.
Then it has now been generated that this is how they abduct,
yes,
young girls,
yes,
forcefully ask them to become a Muslim, yes, and impregnate them. Yes. In fact, recently too, yes, we have one of media houses that is saying that this is how the emirs in the north, yes, are actually doing. Yes. Can you please enumerate for us, yes, what are the steps, yes, taken by the Kano, yes, the Kano people, yes, right, as you have said, yes, and what has to do with law? Okay. Have they acted well, or they just acted on their own? Yes,
I think whoever accuses the emir of the emirate of Kano, or anybody in the anybody in the emirate, or accuses other emirate councils in the north, it's not been fair to them. It is naive to think the emir of Kano did not act well, because the emir of Kano, like I said in the first place, after the emirate listened to the party's version of the case, the matter was first referred to the Sharia Commission. The Sharia Commission conducted its investigation and reported back to the emir that this girl should be taken back to her parents. And now the emir of Kano handed her over to the police and said, take this girl back to her parents. What would he have done? So
Emir of Kano is not a law court.
He is not a court of law.
He's not the government, but he acted what he's supposed to do.
Yes, he did. Even if this girl were his daughter, this would be the best thing he would do. He acted in a fatherly way. And I think we should rather commend him than to condemn him for things he did not do. Of course, you could see that even those who are alleging him have now started dropping the allegation, because initially they said she was abducted, she was forcefully converted to Islam and was forcefully put under the custody of the Kano Emirate. But you can see that when the police started the charge, they understood that that was a false, and they did not charge anybody from the Kano Emirate to the court. If any offense were committed by the Kano Emirate, they would have charged them to the court.
Now, what is the charge against Yunusa now before the law court? What are the charges?
The matter was instituted by the police, that is the Bayelsa State Police Command at the Federal High Court Yanagwa. And there are 5 charges against Yunusa. These 5 charges are basically bordering on 3 things. Number 1, abduction. Number 2, illicit sexual intercourse. And number 3, sexual exploitation. Now, these are the issues, the charges are bordering on.
Now,
these charges were read, all of them were read to Yunusa, and he pleaded not guilty to all of them.
All of them?
Yes, of course, some people are saying he has told the court that I had sexual intercourse with her, but that is a lie. He didn't tell the court that. In fact, he does not even have the opportunity to tell the court that on the day he is being tried. Because under Nigerian law, he is like a king in the court. The only thing he would do is to go, stand before the court, let all evidence against him be brought. If there is anything linking him with the offense, it is at that point that he would be called upon to say something. So he didn't say anything about, having any affair with the girl in court. Of course, the media had reported, and we know what the media, particularly, those media that are reporting, we know how they are reporting things.
Okay. As a barrister of law,
yes,
and as a Muslim,
yes,
is there any abduction,
yes,
or is there any forceful marriage or forceful conversion into Islam in the whole matter within the Aruna and Eze,
yes,
as has been blasphemed now by the media that this is how the Muslims are doing? Is there any of these traces in this matter as you are?
The answer is a capital N-O. It is a no. The first, there are 3 issues. Number 1 is the issue of abduction. Abduction in law is defined as taking someone from one place to another by deception, by force, or by coercion. Now, none of this happened. SA said she paid her transport fare, and this is clear, herself. And when she was in Kano, nobody hid her. She was in the open. Her parents went and saw her, and they did not say, no, we didn't see her.
And she was not in a seclusion with...
no, she was not. She was not even under the custody of Yunusa. She was not even under his custody. Now, the point is, there was no abduction, if we are talking about law. Of course, what is our evidence? That will be revealed in court. What is their evidence? They will bring it to the court. But we are sure as his counsel that he is not guilty of that, he is innocent of that, and to the contrary is proven. Now, secondly, on the issue of forceful conversion to Islam, that is also a blatant lie. We have right now in our possession documents written by S.A. Rita Oruru herself that she accepted Islam by herself. The media has a video clip of her voice in an interview where she said, nobody forced me to accept Islam.
And it was even on the internet like that?
Yes, it is on the internet. Now, not only that, some people are saying S.A. is not yet 18, so she cannot accept Islam. I challenge these people to tell us what part of the Nigerian law, what section of the Nigerian law provides that one cannot accept Islam until he or she is 18. What I know is Section 38 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended clearly states that every Nigerian has a right to freedom of religion and has the right to change one religion from another. And that constitution did not specify age limit as far as conversion is concerned. Of course, the constitution said 18 in respect of citizenship or voting. But in issues of enjoying right to freedom of movement, right to freedom of religion, right to freedom of liberty, right to freedom of conscience, thought, and other rights, the constitution did not specify age. So what I am saying is, if there is anything that is relevant, then Section 208 of the Evidence Act is relevant here. I mean, in the initial law under Section 155 and 175 of the Evidence Act 1945, the law provides that where a child is brought to the court to testify, two tests should be conducted on that child. The first, test is a test that should be, questions should be, states that, the first test states that questions should be put to the child in order to understand whether the child understands questions put to him and can give rational answers. If the child passes the first test, the second test is a test on the nature of religion and God. The child will be asked questions as to his creator, his religion, and whether he understands the implication of telling lies on oath. If the child passes the first and the second test, he will be given, he will be asked to swear before he gives evidence, or it gives evidence. If the child passes the first but does not pass the second, he would be allowed to testify, not on oath, and sworn evidence. Now, the new law has changed that position. Under the evidence, Section 208 of the Evidence Act 2011, once a person is 14 years, and essay in their version is 14, although we are saying she is more than 14. Once a person is 14 years and he is taken to the court to give evidence, that person must swear. It means the law presumes that from the age of 14, you understand the nature of God, you understand the nature of religion, and you understand the implications and consequences of being a religious person. So there's no
question about age
in the Constitution.
In accepting the religion or not?
Yes, that is my understanding. That is my understanding of Nigerian laws.
Let's take it from Islamic point of view.
Yes.
Can Islam accept the conversion of Rita Eze, as she has said voluntarily she wants to accept Islam and by herself? Will Islam accept this because of her parents' background and the rest of the circumstances that surround her as a reversion? Yes.
Let me say I am not a Muslim scholar, and I shouldn't claim to be speaking for Islam.
Yes.
The only thing I know is that Islam uses two yardsticks in making decisions like this. The first yardstick is the yardstick of physical maturity. And then the second yardstick is the yardstick of psychological and mental maturity. Now, we all agree that Ese Rita Oruru is physically matured because they are even alleging that she is pregnant. Now, the second thing is only for us to test her soundness of judgment. If there is that rushed sound judgment in her, there is nothing that would stop Islam from accepting her conversion. After all, she is saying, I want to accept Islam. Should you as a Muslim say, no, you cannot accept Islam? Of course, even those who are saying, they are not saying Islam doesn't accept it. They are saying Nigerian law. But I am yet to see that law they are talking about. I am yet to see that law. I challenge anyone who knows any law that says a Nigerian cannot accept Islam until and unless that person is 18 to bring it forward.
Okay. Now, let's move back to the court. You and other lawyers, I heard there's a son and you among others, that are now defending Yunusa at the court, law court now in Yanagwa. Why are you defending him? And what is your prayer before the court of law?
Okay. Now, maybe, sorry, before we go to that, the last charge is the charge of forceful marriage.
Okay.
There is overwhelming evidence that Ese and Yunusa did not even marry in the first place. So there is no question of whether it was, voluntary or forceful marriage.
So there is no evidence of marriage?
There is no evidence of marriage. But assuming there was evidence of marriage, those who are saying she cannot be married before 18 should give us the law. Which law says that? Of course, they would say the Child's Right Act. The Child's Right Act doesn't apply in Kano. It only applies in Abuja and states where the Child's Right Act has been passed. And there is no law aside of the Child's Right Act in Nigeria that specifies age of marriage. What Nigeria uses in issues of marriage, unless where the Child's Right Act is passed, is the common law principle of contract. And under the common law principles of contract, once someone is, a person is 14 years, that person can enter into contract. And marriage is a contract. So there is no marriage in the first place. don't talk of forceful marriage. And then even assuming but not conceding there was a marriage, that marriage for me is valid because under Nigerian law, no law in Kano specifies that one has to be 18 before marriage takes place.
Now before we go to your prayer in the court,
yes.
I heard you mention pregnancy now.
Yes.
And there was a time,
yes.
both of them were together at Bayelsa.
Yes.
And there was a time
yes.
they were together. They were in Kano, but
yes.
they were not together.
Yes.
Now, how will you want to relate if established pregnancy, or I think the media is claiming about 5 months pregnancy,
yes.
and since she was in the Kano, she was, I think she's more than 6 months in Kano.
Yes.
And before that, and
yes.
Yunusa is saying that if anything like this happened, it should be in Bayelsa. What's your take on this?
I think my take on this, the first is that, yes, there are allegations that the girl is pregnant, but it is a question of proof. The first proof is, let it be proven beyond reasonable doubt that this lady is pregnant. And that can only be done by medical test. Now, after it is proved that, yes, she is pregnant, the next question is who is responsible for the pregnancy? It could be Yunusa. It could be someone else. This girl has gone through a lot of hands. She has slept in different places. And even in her own letter, she has said she has other boyfriends.
Before you did that?
Before Yunusa. In her own handwriting, in the letter we have in our custody. Now the question is, okay, first, prove that she is pregnant. Second, tell us who is responsible. Let me tell you that if it is proved that Yunusa is responsible, we would still argue that that is not an offense in Bayelsa for 2 reasons. Number one, it didn't happen in Bayelsa because Rita has been about 7 months in Kano, and her pregnancy, they said, is 5 months. Secondly, it is not an offense in Bayelsa because there is no law that says she cannot get pregnant before marriage in Bayelsa. But if it were in Kano, we would say Yunusa has committed an offense under the Sharia Penal Code law of Kano State, and he must be punished for that. And we will be the first people to go to the court to ask the court to punish Yunusa for that. We are not shielding him, but we are saying punish him for offenses he committed. Don't punish him for his region or for his religion.
Now, let's come back to the court. What's your prayer before the court?
Okay.
And why are you defending him?
Okay. Why are we defending Yunusa? We are defending Yunusa basically because we think, we want to make sure that justice is accorded to Yunusa. From the beginning of this matter, I said from the beginning of this matter, Yunusa was only interviewed once. But every day this girl is interviewed. Every day her parents are interviewed, as if Yunusa doesn't have parents. Every day their own version of the story is being told, but Yunusa is not being contacted. The second issue is the governor of Bayelsa State came out openly, and in the media, he tried, convicted, and sentenced Yunusa.
My goodness.
Now the whole governor did that. Of course, we know that they are politicians take opportunity of every situation they find. Now, number 3, we believe Yunusa is a Nigerian. He is a human being, and he is entitled to all the rights guaranteed by the Constitution as a human being, as a Nigerian. Because those rights, they are universal, they are egalitarian, they apply to everybody, and Yunusa is one of them. Even if he is, alleged to have committed an offense, he is still presumed innocent in law. So we went to the court to make sure justice is done to Yunusa. If Yunusa has not committed any offense, we must make sure he is discharged and acquitted. If he has committed an offense, we would make sure that he is sentenced according to the law. We don't want him to be sentenced more than what the law provides.
Not because he's a Muslim?
Not because he's a Muslim.
He's from Kano?
No, not because of that, but because we want to show the people that as much as Ese has human rights, Yunusa also has human rights. And we cannot, because of his region or because of his religion, take away his human rights and convict him in the media.
Yes, on that human rights, it was said that Kano people were the ones shading Yunusa.
Yes.
Maybe, are they the one paying you for your bills that you are defending him for?
I can tell you that I am a human rights activist, and I have defended many cases in the past. The only thing that brought me into this matter is that I understand that Yunusa will not just get justice in this matter until and unless he is well represented. He was taken to Bayelsa. People of Bayelsa are already prejudiced against him. The governor has already convicted him. We are even apprehensive that something may happen to him between the prison and the court. because, I mean, we know the nature of how porous our security is. Even when we went to Bayelsa, I mean, yesterday, Yunusa was complaining that he is being beaten in the prison. He is being abused in the prison. He is being, I mean, subjected to degrading conditions in the prison because of his religion, because of his region.
Subhanallah.
We want to show the world that Yunusa might be a Muslim, he might be from the north, but he is entitled to his fundamental rights. The media is already polarized. We have southern media, we have northern media, we have media for I mean, religions. Many things are polarized in Nigeria, but we cannot afford to get our justice system polarized. Because once that is polarized, then we are done as a country.
Okay, I think Adal, I would like to take you on this particular question. Usually, we found that if little things happen,
yes,
and it's committed by a Muslim,
yes,
some section of media,
yes,
go into blasphemy,
yes,
use that to attack Islam.
yes.
We can start counting numbers.
Yes.
If not for the mercy of God,
Yeah.
we would have been talking of something else.
Yes.
What would be your reaction to this?
My reaction to this is that, yes, it is true. Whenever one Muslim who is nothing in the world of Islam, when I say nothing is he is not representing anyone, does something that is bad, then the whole Muslims would be, I mean, categorized as such, and they will be painted black. When the Boko Haram crisis started, we Muslims came out to say what they are doing is not only un-Islamic, but it is anti-Islamic. But these people continue saying, no, we are liars. That what they are doing is Islam and it is Islamic, as if Shekau is more trustworthy than us.
Subhanallah.
Secondly, I mean, this case, I mean, before this case, there were many cases, but this case in particular, Yunusa is just a little boy who does not even live in the north. He lives in Yanagua for his business. He did something that might be wrong, and then the whole Muslims in the country are attacked. But on the other hand, if something happens to the other religions, we don't do that. We know how many people are being raped in churches, but we never said all Christians are bad or they are evil. We know how many baby factories are in the south, but we never said all, all Christians are baby manufacturers. We know how many people commit sodomy in the churches, but we never generalize because we know there are good Christians, there are bad Christians. Other people, we must understand in this country that there might be good Muslims, there might be bad Muslims. And where you have one bad Muslim, treat him as such. We know immediately after Yunusa's case, 3 school girls were abducted in Lagos. And when the culprits or the accused persons were arrested, it was found that one of them is a pastor.
But they said it's a fake pastor.
They said he is a fake pastor. They should have said Yunusa is also a fake Muslim.
Well,
we can't forge ahead as a country in unity and in prosperity like this.
Okay.
In as much as we want to live in peace in this country, we urge those who are non-Muslims to respect us and our culture and our religion. We also covenant to respect them and respect what they respect for their sex. Let them understand that our children are ours. You cannot tell us we should not marry our daughters at so age. You cannot love our daughters more than we love them. Know that we have our own ideals, respect them. We will also respect yours so that we live in peace. But if this matter, if we continue like this, I fear that we may get ourselves where we don't want to get.
Okay, my director has just told me that the time is almost running off, but quickly, what would be your advice to government? We have been attending peace convention, symposium between the Christian and Muslim, unity and this and that. And yet, little things, and it will come out, and it will start like this. How will you continue in under 30 seconds, please?
Now, I think if I were to be allowed, I would say peace symposium, unity discussions, we have done enough of those. I think what I would advise the government is to come up with a program that it may call Nation Tour. And let those who are from the south be taken to the north. Let them go and relate with people from the north firsthand. And then those who are from the north also should go, should be taken to the south for, let's say, 6 weeks. Let them relate with people, and then they would understand that it is not everything you see in the south that is Christianity. Just like it is not everything you see in the north that is Islam.
NYC was supposed to be representation for that, for mingling together. And it's about almost 40 years of that. Do you think that is not taking charge of that?
I think the NYSC program is a good program. But nobody would doubt it that it has been bastardized. Today, people in the south are taken to southern states. People in the north are taken to northern states. But let's assume the program continued the way it was conceived. Let's assume it is from north to south and from south to north. Not all of us are educated. Not all of us have gone to the university for a degree or for for an HND. So what I am saying is, get those people on the street who shape public opinion. Who share public opinion and take them to places in the country where they have not yet been. I can tell you that an average, a graduate who has been in the north does not have the same idea of the north people who have never been in the north have. Just like the south. An average northerner's idea of the south is different from a northerner who has served a year in the south. So what I am saying is, get people who did not go to the university.
So that we can come together and become a Nigerian rather than south.
Yes, south and north. It will not take us anywhere. In fact, this south and north was not in Nigeria before Nigeria was amalgamated, but they are making us look like there were two monolithic, completely exclusive regions called North and South before Nigeria. No, that was a historical lie. It didn't happen.
All right, that's much we can take on this special report on the blasphemy on Yunusa Dairu abduction and the Islamic perspective of the reactions of the scholars. And we were able to bring our brother Barrister Audu Bulama Bukati, who is one of the counsel to Yunusa on this case, and he has really shed light on this matter. Dear brothers and sisters who will be watching this program, this is fundamentally the Muslims' side of this story, and that is the truth. And we want to urge our colleagues, our brothers, our friends on media. Our ethics of media demanded for investigative journalism. Don't say because it is not from your religion and is an opportunity for you to join the politician to blaspheme. It is nothing but a rather disunity or causing a disunity in our country. That's much we'll take, inshallah, till we come your way next time. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.